such an honor to be here and to have so many of you here with us today. So thank you. My name is Sami. I'm part of our developer relations team at Google. And myself and my team, we look after programs such as the Google Developer Groups. And we support these local communities who are able to achieve such amazing results and events and programs for local developers. So to start off, just a huge thank you to Nok and the massive team of volunteers who put this event together. So thank you very much. So today I have the pleasure of kicking our event off to talk about some of the latest announcements that we had at Google I/O. Firstly, I'm going to give you a little sense of what it's like. Now, this was the 10th anniversary of our developer conference, Google I/O. Now, traditionally, well, I should say over the last 8 years, we've run the event in San Francisco. And this year, for our 10th anniversary, we decided we wanted to run it in Mountain View, where our headquarters is. And we ran it at the Shoreline Amphitheater here, which is just minutes walk away from our campus. And I was sitting, I think I was right about here, and it was in the scorching sun, and yes, it was very hot, but watching the 2-hour keynote presentation by Sundar and our executive team was just absolutely inspiring and amazing to watch. We did go through a lot of the products that I'm about to mention in a lot of depth at that I/O, not only in those 2 hours, but over a three-day festival of developer events. And while we won't be able to cover everything this afternoon, I would strongly encourage you to check out a lot of the talks and a lot of the different highlights of the session of I/O on YouTube. So you'll find a lot of the videos there. Some of the products we're going to go over today are listed here. They're essentially the ones that you just saw in the video that pre-rolled before Nok had spoken. Many of them are developer-focused, but as you may have heard, we have some consumer-focused products as well that have come out. So I'm going to start off with talking a little bit about those. Google Assistant being the first one. Now, Google Assistant is a pretty exciting new product coming from Google. Essentially, this is like your own personal assistant who knows you, who understands the kind of things you want, understands the context in terms of where you are and what you're talking about with your friends, and can help you along across all the different actions you take during the day. It's a very conversational relationship. So it's almost like having a real assistant help you in all your daily tasks. And one of the things we've done that's very exciting with the assistant is we've put it into hardware form. Now doing that, you might have heard of Google Home. How many people have actually heard about the announcement that we made of Google Home? Great, we've got a few people out there. So Google Home is probably one of the things I'm most excited about. I can't wait to have a smart home fully integrated. And what's exciting about this product is you can talk to it and it's not constricted by that one hardware device. It'll now be able to connect with your other Google powered devices, such as your TV, right? Or eventually perhaps your lighting, your alarm system, those type of things. And I'm just going to play a quick video that we played at the I/O in May to give you a sense of what your day-to-day could be like using Google Home.
Okay, Google, I'm listening. Your flight to Portland is delayed by 30 minutes.
Change my dinner reservation tonight from 7:30 to 8.
Your reservation at Andina is now confirmed for 8 p.m.
I thought you finished that already.
I forgot. Okay, Google, let's tackle Spanish. Manzanas.
Hey, Google, has my package shipped?
Yes, it's already shipped. It'll arrive tomorrow.
Was that for me? Interesting.
Hey Google, how many stars are in our galaxy?
Well, there are about 100 to 400 billion stars, according to space.com.
Which star is the closest?
According to NASA, the nearest star system is Alpha Centauri.
Can you show me what it looks like on the TV?
Okay, Google, how's the traffic from Apple Rock School to the airport?
Your normal route has heavy traffic. There's a faster one that'll take about 35 minutes. I've sent it to your phone.
Okay. Go.
Dad!
products you're going to see coming from Google throughout the rest of this year. The next thing we had announced was actually 2 new communication apps. The first one being Allo, which is our chat app, and Duo, our video conferencing app. So the difference here is it's very powerful in terms of the type of editing, the contextual understanding that these apps have, as well as the types of formatting you can do with your chat. So as you can see here, you can have bigger text when you really want to emphasize something. You can edit photos live right before you send them across to your friends. And even during your chat conversations, it'll actually give you automatic responses, recommend automatic responses that you can give to your friends when you're on the go and you don't have time to type everything out fully. So that's a pretty exciting thing. But how many developers do we have in the room? How many of you write code? Yeah, software engineers? Wonderful, wonderful. So I'm going to talk now about a number of the developer platforms and tools that we announced at I/O. The first one being Android N, or as we now know is Nougat, our developer preview 3. So we've got a lot of exciting new features that I'm going to go through. The first one being multi-window. So now you don't have to worry about switching between the different apps in your phone to be able to get content from one to the other. You can actually have the 2 apps running simultaneously, and you'll have the functionality to be able to drag from one to the other. So this is a really exciting feature, and we can't wait to see how people use it and how we continue to develop it over time. Direct reply notifications. Simply to, again, get all the switching between apps and so on out of the way, and just get you to be able to respond and take the action you want to take as quickly as possible. Bundled notifications helps you manage your notification stream that you get, especially if you're getting a lot of Facebook notifications. I'm assuming today there's going to be a lot of activity around I/O Extended. Instead of getting each individual notification in your stream, actually you'll be able to bundle it up, and you can even minimize all your Facebook notifications so you can see what else is happening in your notifications outside of that. So that'll be exciting. We've got a lot of things that make the platform and the operating system much more efficient. And so you're also going to see language support for Java 8. Many more things as well to come there. So you're going to see this roll out. The preview is available, and you can sign up for our beta program here at android.com/beta. But you'll see the final release coming out later this quarter. So stay tuned for that. Something we're very excited about is our new preview for Android Studio 2.2. The next thing we had announced was actually 2 new communication apps. The first one being Allo, which is our chat app, and Duo, our video conferencing app. So the difference here is it's very powerful in terms of the type of editing, the contextual understanding that these apps have, as well as the types of formatting you can do with your chat. So as you can see here, you can have bigger text when you really want to emphasize something. You can edit photos live right before you send them across to your friends. And even during your chat conversations, it'll actually give you automatic responses, recommend automatic responses that you can give to your friends when you're on the go and you don't have time to type everything out fully. So that's a pretty exciting thing. But how many developers do we have in the room? How many of you write code? Yeah, software engineers? Wonderful, wonderful. So I'm going to talk now about a number of the developer platforms and tools that we announced at I/O. The first one being Android N, or as we now know is Nougat, our developer preview 3. So we've got a lot of exciting new features that I'm going to go through. The first one being multi-window. So now you don't have to worry about switching between the different apps in your phone to be able to get content from one to the other. You can actually have the 2 apps running simultaneously, and you'll have the functionality to be able to drag from one to the other. So this is a really exciting feature, and we can't wait to see how people use it and how we continue to develop it over time. Direct reply notifications. Simply, again, get all the switching between apps and so on out of the way, and just get you to be able to respond and take the action you want to take as quickly as possible. Bundled notifications. helps you manage your notification stream that you get. Especially if you're getting a lot of Facebook notifications. I'm assuming today there's going to be a lot of activity around I/O extended. Instead of getting each individual notification in your stream, actually you'll be able to bundle it up, and you can even minimize all your Facebook notifications, so you can see what else is happening in your notifications outside of it. So that'll be exciting. We've got a lot of things that make the platform and the operating system much more efficient. And so you're also going to see language support for Java 8. Many more things as well to come there. So you're going to see this roll out. The preview is available, and you can sign up for our beta program here at android.com/beta. But you'll see the final release coming out later this quarter. So stay tuned for that. Something we're very excited about is our new preview for Android Studio 2.2. So Android Studio 2.2 has addressed a lot of the major feedback and concerns developers have had with Android Studio in the past. We actually built a committee of developers, many developers actually from Southeast Asia and Vietnam, to be part of this effort. We flew them all the way to Mountain View to sit with our team in the US and build what we envisioned to be the best possible browser, or the best possible IDE out there for software and for Android development. So here's some of the features that are starting to roll out already. We've got a new layout editor, and this is going to be very simple. So what we're trying to do is reduce the amount of time you have to spend writing detailed code and get you to really think about the look and feel of your apps. So you can just drag and drop widgets into your app so that you can see right away what it'll look like and how it can function. The design surface also has a blueprint mode, so you can actually just get a sense of, okay, in terms of layout, how does my app look? How far apart are things? Is everything intuitive? In the property panel, which you see here, instead of having to go into your code and change all the different properties, you can actually do that for a number of the different properties here through our quick kind of widget edits that we have available. So there's a lot of exciting things coming out from the new layout perspective. There's also a new layout that's called the constraint layout. And essentially this helps in terms of positioning of the different items, the components and views that you've got in your Android app. So in this case over here you can see that essentially you can anchor this particular image view to the sides of the phone so that it's always going to be positioned in the middle. No matter what size device it is, no matter where it's being looked and what orientation, this is what's going to happen. So it makes it a lot simpler to use, and it's backwards compatible all the way to our API level 9. And it's in the early preview of Android Studio. Firebase, which is something you're going to hear a lot about. I'm very excited that we've got 6 members of the Firebase team who've flown in from the US to be here with you guys today and speak to you about Firebase. We're going to be talking about a number of the different components, but here I just want to mention that we're going to have a plugin available in the new Android Studio version, so that it's going to be easier to access those those components for your Android app. Another very cool feature is our code sample browser. So essentially, when you're writing code, if you want to get a sense of, what is a Google recommended use of a particular type of function you want to call, like here's a method here, you simply go find sample code, and it's actually going to share with you some of these code snippets that you can use for your own app. So again, making it really simple to use best practices for your Android app. And finally, we got a new APK analyzer. Now, this is going to give you some really valuable data about your APKs in your Android app. For example, it's going to help you make sure that you don't hit the 64,000 reference method limit in your files, so your DEX files. So here, it's a little bit small, but you can see it tells us that the DEX file has this many definitions, this many methods, and it has this many reference to methods. So 20,000 is already listed here. So you know when you're getting close to that limit. And you can also see the raw file size of your app, as well as the download APK size. So it's a really great sort of dashboard to understand what's really happening once your app is done. Another very cool thing are updates to Android Wear. So Android Wear, we launched a while ago, Android Wear 1.0, and it was due for an update with some very cool updates. One of the main things that you're going to be seeing is you can now build standalone apps. Standalone apps, I'll go into a little bit more detail, but essentially you're going to be untethered from your phone now. Since Android Wear 1.0 is normally very much linked and based on the connectivity of your phone, this is going to change now for number 2. There's a new system UI, we've got material design, new libraries to support your wearables, a new complication API. Now the complication API is essentially anything you want to bring onto the face of your watch. You're going to be able to, that's not hours and minutes, you're going to be able to have these little widgets now that connect to your app directly from the watch face. So that's a really cool feature, and so we act as kind of the middleman between your service online and the watch face. We've got some new input methods, which I'll show you, a new messaging style as well, and a new Google Fit platform, and support for Android N. So very quickly for the standalone apps, now Android Wear 2.0 is going to support Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, even cellular data, without having to rely on that connection with your phone using the Data Layers API. You can now push messages directly to the phone as well, because your phone or your watch, because your watch is now going to be connected directly to your account manager as well. So that is going to change the way that it interacts with your different profiles, so Google, Facebook, and so on. It doesn't have to be a proxy through the phone any longer. So very cool stuff. And from an input perspective, while you can write just with your fingers to be able to write stuff, you can use this keyboard if you have super tiny fingers and you want to do that. Then I will have problems myself. Or you can do what we call smart reply. And smart replies are, again, using this artificial intelligence, like our assistant, the type of technology behind our assistant, to be able to intelligently respond quickly to a comment or a message that you get sent using some of the contextual data. One of my favorite things to talk about, and I've spoken already in Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City and tomorrow in Da Nang about, is Firebase. Firebase. I'm so excited about this product. As a developer, I wish we had this product years ago when I first started writing code. It's so cool. It's such a great way. If you're a front-end developer and you don't want to have to worry about all the various tools that you can plug into in the back end just to make your app run properly, this is a great tool to use. So just to give you a little bit of background about Firebase. Google had acquired the Firebase product and team 18 months ago, and during that time, we've been working with the team very closely to continue support for these 3 products. Early components, they put together real-time database, authentication, and hosting that have basically become best in class in the industry. And Google was excited about seeing what would be the possibility if we put the Firebase team in contact with our various teams at Google, where we have all these other developer products, but they're not quite connected. So that was essentially the mission, and it all came under the umbrella of Firebase, which we're really excited about. So we went from just back-end services into introducing new app quality services as well. So this suite can really help developers build their app, right? Develop their app. Then we plugged into a number of different projects that we're working at Google for acquisition and re-engagement of users. So now it's not just about building, we can even help you find more users and keep those users over time. And finally, most importantly, for our developers to be able to help them earn money, right? They need to be able to make successful apps, both from a technology standpoint, but also from a business standpoint. And here we've made it super easy to plug into our AdMob backend so that you can run ads over your apps and earn cash. All of these things all of the new components that we've designed are now connected to a brand new analytics platform. So this is not a remake of Google Analytics, which is a great platform, especially if you're building a website. But this is a mobile-first analytics platform. It's designed thinking about users and thinking about active users and the type of activities they would have across your app. So it's a really fantastic tool, and it plugs into all the different components of Firebase. So what we did was we went from these 3 components of Firebase, and over the 18 months that the Firebase team has basically been reaching out across Google to work across all these different products, we've become 15 different components across Firebase. So we announced that at I/O. This is available now, so please do try it out. Most of these features are absolutely free to use. You're going to learn about a lot of these features in more depth today, depending on the sessions that you attend as well. Some of the great things that Firebase brought to our team, I believe we've learned a lot at Google from this team, is how much the developer experience matters. Really having documentation in one place, making it simple and easy to understand the different APIs. This is something they're known to have a fantastic reputation for amongst developers, and we're excited about how they've helped us do even more of that across Google products as well. It's cross-platform, so we're not just talking about Android, we're also talking about iOS and web. And I'm so excited about that now we've got a platform that can really help developers in the way that they're trying to help their users, right? And it's fully integrated. You can use all the components, or you can just pick and choose a few of the components, but it's one SDK. Super simple to apply to your app. Now that's apps. Now I want to move over to the web. So what's happening on the website? Chrome is having a fantastic run. We've reached 1 billion users per month on mobile Chrome browser. That's pretty amazing. And on top of that, we're loading 771 billion pages each month. So it's a huge amount. So the web, anyone who says the web is dead, well, we just need to show them some of these stats, right? The web is certainly still alive. But how can we improve that experience? Clearly, a lot of us really enjoy the experience of what an app can bring. It's fast, it's easy to use, it loads quickly. What can we do from a web perspective? Well, that's where our effort for progressive web apps comes in. Now, progressive web apps is really relooking at how some of the services run from a website onto a client device, like a mobile phone, and think about how can we make it faster, more seamless, and really allow you as a developer to engage quickly and easily with your users. So this is a sense of the experience. You can see this is actually a website, but it looks exactly like an app would look, and it'll load just as quickly or nearly as quickly as a native application on a phone. Some of the things that are integrated, or some of the things that are required to have a progressive web app is the use of service workers. Now, service workers is a technology that essentially lets you run scripts on your browser, on the client side. So rather than running everything from a server side. So this is one of the keys to having a progressive web app. It allows not just the request to the internet, but also it does pushing as well. So you can have push notifications and syncing with your web app. Some of the core components is an application shell. And the idea here is that the first time you load this website, this shell, which is essentially the different views you've got inside your web app in your navigation drawer, this shell will actually be saved in cache on the device itself. So the next time you go to that website, it's already there, and it loads incredibly fast, right? It's almost instant. And then the dynamic content, actually, so the content here, that's what's actually loaded from the internet. So there's a call that goes to update that content the second time you go to the site. So those are some of the core components. One of the other cool features is that, for a progressive web app, you can actually, the second time you go, within a certain period of time, you can actually save the website in an app icon format on your phone. So it actually even looks like an app. You can refer back to the app in the same way. So here, it asks you essentially, do you want to save this to your home screen after you've come to the Flipkart website? It saves there. The next time you load it, it looks like this. Now you notice actually the URL line, the bar here, is gone. So it actually is a fully immersive, almost a native app experience, but it's a website. So it's very, very cool. You can also do push notifications. This is an example of a Facebook website push notification. So it's coming from the mobile facebook.com site. And so you can use this to notify users and get in touch with them quickly, even when the website is closed. These are some of the things that we recommend for progressive web apps. There's no hard and fast rule, but what there are a few tools that we recommend to our partners who are working on this technology. So we have service workers, which we've talked about. Your web app manifest. Now the manifest essentially is your instructions in terms of what the app should look like, what the different icons are going to look like, where they're going to be based, and so on. The app shell, which we discussed, our splash screen, much smoother navigation, and enhancement across different browsers. Of course, we've talked about push notifications and having advanced offline support so that your user doesn't necessarily always have to be online to be able to get the content and read through your content. So these are the browsers that are supported right now by progressive web apps, and we're actively working on integrating progressive web apps with these browsers at this moment as well. So please do look at that and make sure it's not a Chrome-only experience. Related to that, accelerated mobile pages, this is more relevant for publishers who want to have a page that really instantly loads. And there's some exciting technology about that. I highly recommend that you check this out, because one of the top insights we've had is that 40% of users actually leave a website before it's actually loaded if it takes more than 3 seconds to load up. So that's something to think about when you're building your pages. And with that, we've got instant apps. So we're making the websites look more like apps, and apps, how can we improve that app experience? Make it work more like websites. You shouldn't have to install an app to be able to get the experience and understand how the app can help you. So Instant App actually takes out that whole installation friction with the user away, and it helps you actually load up your app in a very quick, seamless manner, just like this, powered by Google Play. And here you can actually browse through the app and watch content without ever having installed it. If you like the app, then your user can install it. That's the way it should work. So very excited about that. If you want to sign up to get access to Instant Apps, you can do that here. The last topic I want to talk about before I wrap up is our machine learning and artificial intelligence. So obviously, as you saw in the intro video as well, this is a really important field for us. We believe machine learning can be applied to any of our products in a way to make it better, more easier for our users to use and to benefit from it. Recently, we had a pretty historic match. Our AlphaGo artificial intelligence software versus Grandmaster of Go, Lee Sedol in Korea. How many of you had heard about this AlphaGo competition that we had? Hands up? Fantastic. I'm so glad that so many people here had heard about it. It's an exciting moment. It was an exciting moment, not just for Google, but I believe just for all of humanity, right? This was the most complicated game that we could ever think about, right? Far more complex than chess. There's an infinite number of permutations of steps that can be taken within this game. And it's considered to be one of the most complicated games we've ever created. And we put it up against one of our world's best players, Lee Sedol, who I personally have a lot of respect for, especially after watching some of these matches. In a 5-match series, AlphaGo beat Lee Sedol 4 times. And that's pretty amazing. That tells us 2 things. One thing is that artificial intelligence is really coming in a very strong way. It's really making a lot of progress. And the one loss that we made, which Lee Sedol tells us, we still have a little bit more to learn, right? We still have a lot more to learn from that perspective. But it's a very, very exciting time. To help improve the research and application of machine learning, we've announced this open source library of essentially mathematical computations and a data flow graph. And that is what we call TensorFlow. We made it available for everyone. And in this graph, there's nodes, that represent these computations, these operations. And we have a multi-dimensional data array, which is essentially tensors that are the edges of this graph. And what that means is essentially it's a tool that researchers can use to take large amounts of data and make sense of it in a way that we've never been able to in the past. And I'm just going to show you a quick video about TensorFlow before I wrap up.
Deep learning is this branch of machine learning loosely inspired by how the brain works. We have had experience building software for deep learning over the last few years.
Although it was initially a research project, we've since collaborated with about 50 different teams at Google and deployed these systems in real products across a really wide spectrum of areas. Today, it's used heavily in our speech recognition systems, in the new Google Photos product, Gmail, in search.
We've really taken all that experience and built that into TensorFlow. TensorFlow is this machine learning library that's used across Google for applying deep learning to a lot of different areas.
Doing both artificial intelligence research and deploying these production models. They're really powerful at doing various kinds of perceptual and language understanding tasks. These models are able to actually make it so computers can actually see, or actually able to understand what is in an image when you're looking at it, what is in a short video clip. And that enables all kinds of powerful product features.
Machine learning is the secret sauce for the products of tomorrow. It no longer makes sense to have separate tools for researchers of machine learning and people who are developing real products. There should really be one set of tools that researchers can use to try out their crazy ideas, and if those ideas work, they can move them directly into products without having to rewrite code.
On the research side, the goal is to bring new understanding to existing problems, advance the state-of-the-art on existing problems, understand new problems that weren't considered before. But on the engineering side, the goal is to take those insights from the research community and use them to enable products and product features that wouldn't have been possible before.
Part of the point of TensorFlow is to allow collaboration and communication between researchers. It allows a researcher in one location to develop an idea and explore it, and then just send code that someone else can use on the other side of the world.
We are making it a lot easier for humans to be able to use the device around them. We think having this as an open source tool really helps that and speeds that effort up. So we expect developers to be able to do a lot more than they can do today.
We think we have the best machine learning infrastructure in the world, and we have the opportunity to share that, and that's what we want to do here.
So that's TensorFlow. It's very cool. Yeah, absolutely. So you're going to be hearing from Google a lot over the coming years about not just TensorFlow, but machine learning platforms in general. And to just give you an understanding of where we're at from a machine learning and artificial intelligence perspective, I wanted to give you this example. Now this is using software that was written using TensorFlow. These images are part of a set, a much larger set, a collection of images called ImageNet. And ImageNet runs a competition in the community where it's called the Top 5 Error Rate competition, and essentially where the top 5 recommendations from your program, how many of these images can you get the correct name for that within your top 5? To advance this technology further, we've actually created our own tensor processing unit, which basically allows for fewer transistors for each operation. It means it's faster and easier to run advanced computations for machine learning. So this is going to help us. It's pushed us 7 years into the future by developing this new hardware. And so with that, I want to wrap up. We're out of time, but I just wanted to say it's time to be excited about the future. There's so many amazing things coming out. I'm really excited about the projects that Google is working on, but I'm even more excited about how you as developers are going to use these products, right? And as users, how you're going to find new applications of these products in your lives. And I can't wait to see that and get feedback from that. So with that, I want to say thank you. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you enjoy the rest of the afternoon and all the wonderful talks that are here. I'm very happy to speak with you, and please do reach out to my colleagues from Google who are here to speak to you as well. So thank you very much, and thank you, Gigi, for having me.